Hello and a very warm welcome to the Andrew Eborn Show and the Truth About, where we dig beneath the headlines and find out what's really going on. And to help us with that, I'm delighted to be joined by my old chum, Mike Reed. How are you, Mike?
Very well. I might not be able to help you. You know that. No, I'm not. I'm not all-knowing.
My inquiries. It's always a joy. We were talking last time about the media and never let the truth stand in the way of a good story. And sometimes they look. Yesterday's paper is fish and chip wrappings today, but with the media and with the news, actually, those stories live forever unless things are put right. Now, one of those stories, and people always bring it up whenever they talk about Frankie Goes to Hollywood and Relax, which is supposed to be number one. What's the real story, Mike?
When people ask me about it, I always said, you want the truth or the myth? And they're never quite sure then, because the myth is far more exciting. The truth is far more boring. I mean, on the myth front, there were at least 1,000 people in the studio who all saw me throw it across the studio and smash it against the wall and break it over my knee. So I was never going to play it again. Or I mean, absolutely. There was only one person in the studio, and that was Adrian John, who was on before me. The reason it wasn't played was because we'd run down the chart again on a Wednesday morning. And I had about 10 minutes left, and Adrian brought me a cup of tea, and I said, I have time to play all these. And the Frankie Goes to Hollywood was a 12-inch. And I said, I'm not going to have time. And Adrian was looking at it, and he said, have you seen this on the back? And there was a few sort of vile words on the back that latterly, when I saw Trevor Horn, he said, I didn't know they'd done that. They put that on there. And he went, I said, well, if I drop one, I'll drop that one then. So it wasn't banning it. It was just dropping it because I hadn't got time to play it. And Paul Morley, their manager, picked up on it, made a big thing of it, banning it and all the rest of it. But I couldn't ban it. The BBC banned it. I was an employee of the BBC. So they could say, well, we're firing you. We're not letting you ban it. You can't ban it. We're the BBC. So that was the real case. That was why Paul leapt on it and then got me to do the voiceover for their first album. And what he did, of course, I mean, what I discovered later, there are various parts to this story. I was in Cannes, just off the Croisette, one of our old stomping grounds, Andrew.
Absolutely.
And I was on La Plage having a sort of early supper. And this guy leaned across and he said, I think we have something in common. I said, what's that? He said, I directed the video for Frankie Goes to Hollywood. He said, the overt one that I said, yeah, I know it, where there are certain things going on that we won't discuss here, but very overt and very interesting. And he said, I directed it. He said, but I was told it would only be for the Tube. He said, and that's it. He said, their manager, Paul Morley, got hold of it, took it to Children's TV, Top of the Pops, Radio 1. And all went, oh, my goodness me. My producer at Radio 1, Paul Williams, came in. He said, we can't be anywhere near this. He said, have you seen the video? He said, I've got home and found my 2 young daughters. Rewind. He said, oh, my God, they don't even know what's going on here. And then Children's TV said, look, you're the face of Children's TV. We can't be anywhere near this. So I think Paul Morley put the cat among the pigeons by taking a video, an over-the-top video, to areas that it wasn't meant for. It was only meant for the Tube, so he said. So that was what really happened, and it was really banned because of the video. That was it. I don't know whether the video is still available now. Well, it's probably been banned again now. I don't know. It's probably come around again. But yeah, that was the truth. There was never any punch up or any fights or anything like that people always try and claim. But as I say, things go down in history. I saw Holly. Well, we did various things together after that, but I saw him about 3 or 4 years ago, and he said, let's do a selfie together. People think that was funny, but great. No, the great man. I mean, I had a problem with the track. I mean, it was a great dance track. And I loved, it wasn't my favorite Frankie's track. Two Tribes and Welcome to the Pleasure Dome are my favorite Frankie's tracks. They're great. But Trevor Horn did a brilliant job. I mean, he produced those basically as Trevor. And about 2 years ago at Rewind Festival, Trevor was there and he said, if I'd known I'd have got you on stage to do Relax with us, that would have been funny.
It is also glorious, isn't it? I mean, it was P.T. Barnum who said that if you want to draw a crowd, start a fight. And that's what the media love, isn't it? They love to sort of blow up the whole story. And actually, you're right, Relax was a great single, and Two Tries were maybe even better. But sometimes things that are banned suddenly get the oxygen of publicity, which drives them even further up the charts than they would have been. There have been a few examples of those, haven't there?
Yeah, and don't forget, I mean, people say, oh, when Mike banned Relax, it went from nowhere to #1. But it didn't. It was already #3. So it was heading to #1 anyway. So I think quite rightly, I mean, Paul Morley, their manager, had a good nose for PR, and he got it right. You know, he made a big thing out of it in the T-shirts. Frankie says relax, and Frankie says, very clever marketing. You can't knock that. It's absolutely brilliant, because there's so many records in the charts that are good and people buy it, they like it. But he really made a big thing, and you know, like Jerry and the Pacemakers, you know, the first 3 singles went to #1, and you think, wow, you know, that's brilliant marketing. So very, very clever. Good producer, good manager, good front man, and the whole thing worked well. Yeah, I mean, if you ban anything, kids will go, oh, what's that? We'll go and buy that then. You know, definitely. It would depends what it is, I guess. You know.
Well, no, but everything, or even from things like the satanic verses. I remember that's
yeah.
the Salman Rushdie thing, and Je t'aime, I think, on the music front as well. All of those things. I think you find they get pushed further and further. That oxygen of publicity. People always love a bit of a scandal. They love a bit of a fight, don't they?
Definitely. I mean, Lady Chatterley's Lover. I think probably many a schoolboy rushed out and bought that because it's meant to be steamy, and anything that's taken off the shelves, or anything, I guess, for some people that's on a very high shelf. The higher the shelf, the naughtier it must be. And, you know, it's only the tall boys that can reach them. The short boys have no chance. They have to go for the history magazines and the engineering magazines. But yeah, it's like anything. As you say, if you give, it's a bit, you're talking about oxygen, you know, it's like politics or anything. If you give somebody else, if you allow oxygen in the room, someone else is going to breathe it. But if you fill it, you know, if you're whatever, whether you are, you're a dictator, you're a politician, whatever you are, if you get in there, or you're a singer, and you fill the room with your charisma, with your personality, you fill the room, you don't let anybody else breathe. But the more you shrink away into a corner, the more other people can pile in and breathe your oxygen. And I think that's pretty true of politics.
Yeah. So in a nutshell, then, the truth about Relax is that you didn't ban it.
I didn't have the power to ban it. The BBC actually banned it, although they'd already played it. That didn't stop them. I mean, there have been various songs over the years where BBC producers have woken up and gone, hang on, what's that about? But no, I didn't have the power to ban it. But I didn't mind taking the blame because it was a PR story and it was interesting. You know, it was a bit of fun. And this thing of like, oh, we had a fight and all this, it's rubbish, you know. I did the voiceover for their first album. And yeah, they made some good records, but it's gone down in the annals of history and mythology now. So it's very difficult to undo it. It's just that it does throw people when I say, do you want the myth or the truth? Because they know the truth is not going to be as exciting, and the myth is, but the myth is perpetrating a lie. And do they want to do that in the interview?
Yeah, no, absolutely. Well, the great news is, Mike, is that everybody tunes in to the Andrew Eborn Show to get the truth. And we have now put that one to bed. Nobody will ever ask you again about Frankie Goes to Hollywood and Relax.
Good. I'm looking forward to your next single, Andrew Goes to Hollywood.
Always a joy. Mike Reed, thank you for joining me.
Thank you, Andrew. See you soon.
Bye-bye.